Hi everyone, it's Jessica, and for today's video I thought I'd do a quick comparison between the Erin Condren Life Planner and the Happy Planner. So I've actually been using the Happy Planner since I started planning back in December, January, so for a couple months now, and I only just managed to get my hands on an Erin Condren. I didn't really want to order it online without actually seeing it in person first. So I just waited until the Staples near me finally had them, and so I was able to go in and get one just to compare the two. And I just wanted to kind of run down some of the big differences that I found and some of my thoughts about them. So typically when I buy anything, but especially for the planners, I look at price, of course, the look and the function of the planner, and then just the overall quality. So price-wise, I think we all know by now that the Erin Condren can be pretty pricey. It starts at $50 and it goes up from there depending on the add-ons that you choose. So it's $50 just for the basic 12-month planner, although I think at Staples you can get the 18-month for $50. I'm pretty sure this was marked $49.99. I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to look at my receipt. But basically online it's $50, then $10 if you want anything other than just the platinum coil. If you want personalized covers, that's, I don't even know how much, but it adds up very, very quickly. The Happy Planner in comparison is a much more affordable option. These planners are all marked at about $30. And if you go to Hobby Lobby or Michael's, there's always a coupon. I think it's always usually at least 40% off. I got mine with a 50% off coupon, so even after tax, I only wound up paying $16 for this planner. They also have a variety of box sets that are a little bit more, but you get some stickers with it as well. So price-wise, definitely the Happy Planner is a much better price. As far as the look of these planners, they are very, very similar. They both have I got the vertical in both of them, and they both have just the boxes or the days split into 3 different boxes. They used to be called morning, day, and night, but I think the majority of these planners have just done away with those headers since most people just covered those up anyway. So looks-wise, they do look very, very similar. I will note, which I was actually pretty surprised by, but apparently the Erin Condren is actually a little bit smaller than the Happy Planner. So it's, if you line up the pages at the bottom, there's about a ½ an inch, maybe up to an inch difference. I have my ruler here, let me just see. I think it's just a ½ inch difference. Yeah, it's about a ½ of an inch taller with the Happy Planner. So I thought that was interesting. I wasn't quite expecting that. It does make the Erin Condren, I think, a little bit more portable. But other than that, there's not huge differences in the overall style. Obviously with the Erin Condren, you do have the spacing between the lines, whereas with the Happy Planner, the days are just right up next to each other. So I actually do prefer how Erin Condren has laid it out. I think it just helps you visually separate the days a little bit better. I do think most kits look better with a little bit of separation between them versus having, if you use stickers in your planner, at least having them right next to each other. I just do think that looks better. Other big differences that you notice right off the bat, obviously the Erin Condren has the coil, whereas the Happy Planner has the arc rings, and there are good and bad about both. With the coil, I do think it looks a little bit better. It does seem a little bit sturdier, just in the sense that your planner is bound at so many different points. That's really the only reason. I'm not saying that these are flimsy, but because there's less points where you bind all the pages together, that it does not feel quite as secure as the coil. That being said, with the arc rings, you have the ability to take the pages in and out of your planner, which I find really helpful when I'm planning because I like to turn my pages every which way just to make sure I get the stickers down properly, and it's just so much easier being able to take the pages out. But other than that, there's not too many huge differences. There's obviously some slight design differences. With the Happy Planner, you get a little calendar at the top left corner versus the Thankful Thought. Although now I think with the new planners, they just write down the month and there's like a smaller box for the Thankful Thought. But yeah, that's really about it. Design-wise, The Erin Condren really only comes in 2 different designs for the vertical. It also comes in a neutral planner, which Staples doesn't carry apparently, and I would have preferred the neutral because honestly I'm not a big fan of this watercolor background, and especially when you switch from month to month, I just don't think that's done very, very well. I mean, they try to blend it in and make it cohesive, but I don't know, just some of the colors they choose I'm just not a big fan of. So I definitely would have preferred the neutral. Compared to that, the Happy Planner has a lot more variety to choose from. So it's a lot more versatile and everyone can kind of pick one that suits their own style the best. I chose this one just because I liked having the unshaded weekend days. All the other ones I looked at have the weekend shaded in, and I wasn't a big fan of that because I wanted to do more white space planning, so I like having just white all around. But this one I do think it looks just really pretty too. It has just these really pretty dividers, and I just think the colors they chose are really pretty. I think the font they chose is just very, very elegant looking. Yeah, so overall there's just so many different varieties of the Happy Planner that I think everyone would be able to get what they want. There are ones where they have floral detailing, there are ones that are watercolor as well, so there's just a ton of different varieties. And I know I haven't looked too much into the box sets, but I know they do have quite a few different box sets as well, which again, they come undated, so they're just very, very versatile compared to the Erin Condren, which you pretty much are stuck with how they design their pages on the inside. You can't really, if you don't like how it's designed here, or if you don't like how it is in the neutral, you can't really kind of pick something with a different font or different colors, that sort of thing. And kind of going along with the design, I do think the Happy Planner has just a lot better accessories too. They've got just so many different inserts available. I know they have a fitness insert, I believe, and actually they came out with a box set that's geared towards a fitness planner. So that's really cool. They have wedding inserts, they have recipe inserts that you can just pop right into your existing planner, or you can get some more arc rings and make your own planner with that. So, and that's at just the planner inserts too. They have a ton of folders and sticker books, and I think they have some washi tubes as well. So they just came out with just so much better accessories compared to Erin Condren, which as far as I can tell, I mean, they have some notebooks, they have some like sticky notes, and they've got some stickers, but I do think that Happy Planner has better accessories when it comes to that sort of thing. And also, I did see on Stephanie Fleming's Instagram, she's the creator of Me and My Big Ideas, she posted that they would be coming out with interchangeable covers for the Happy Planner as well. And that was something that I saw quite a few people comment about on their Periscope, where they were showing off the Mombi new releases. A lot of people were asking if Mombi would ever come out with interchangeable covers, because they did really like the fact that with Erin Condren you can switch out the covers. And I've also seen some people on Etsy selling covers for the Happy Planner. I haven't tried any of those yet, so I don't know quality wise how they are. But yeah, it seems like Mombi will be coming out with covers for the Happy Planner, which is also really, really cool. Oh, and I totally haven't even mentioned like the most obvious difference. So totally forgot about the most obvious difference, but with the sizing of the boxes, the width is the same, but you do get taller boxes in the Happy Planner. So to me, I like that better because you wind up getting more room to write or more room to kind of lay out your plans. Now with the Erin Condren, you could kind of fake it by starting your stickers down lower, where some of these little lines are, but I feel like the vast majority of people I watch that do plan with me's, they just put the bottom washi down here and they don't use this space at all. So that really just, I don't know, it wouldn't really fit with my style of planning, because to me that just winds up wasting a lot of space that could be utilized. But that's just my personal preference. And so yeah, you could still give yourself more space with the Erin Condren if you just started your stickers a little bit lower, but like I said, I don't really see too many people doing that. And then I did mention before that I really preferred how there is spacing between the days in the Erin Condren. So you can kind of do that in the Happy Planner as well. I've been playing around with being able to space out the boxes, and basically what I do is I redraw the columns. So for this one, the Tuesday is the original column, but then for Monday I shift it over to the left a little bit, and for Wednesday I shift it over to the right a little bit. So you can see here there's some white out to kind of cover up the headers that were in between originally, and then there's also some white lines here to cover up the original lines. But I do think I like how that turned out. So you can still give yourself that fake spacing look in the Happy Planner if you did something like that. It takes a little bit more work, and I don't know if anyone else is anal retentive enough to do that, but it's definitely possible. So I think I've touched upon most of my initial thoughts as far as the differences between the layout of the pages. And like I said, there are pros and cons to both, and if they ever created a hybrid where they basically had the Happy Planner style boxes, but then they did the spacing, like I would be the first in line to get that planner because it would save me a lot of trouble. But that being said, with the Happy Planner, I do feel like you get to be a little bit more creative with your planning, just because most sticker kits are geared towards the Erin Condren. So I found that in order to get the look that I want, I have had to be a little bit more creative, such as by doing things like redrawing the columns of the boxes, or having to make sure that my stickers will fit the entire day. So for example, this press kit that I used here, which is absolutely gorgeous by the way, but this kit that I use is formatted for the Erin Condren. So I actually had to take measurements of each of these different elements of the kit to make sure that it would all line up and be able to cover everything that I needed it to cover. So cover the entire day, as well as the dates, which do come up above a little bit higher than what you would find in the Erin Condren. So again, you do have to be a little bit more creative, and that could be a good thing or a bad thing. Some people probably don't really want to bother with that, and they just want to have it all laid out for them, but I think it's kind of a fun challenge, really. So that is, I think, just all my thoughts as far as the look and the function of the planner. They are very, very similar in that regard. As far as the quality, I have to say, having this Erin Condren actually in my hands, I was pretty surprised by how comparable the quality is between these two planners, considering that the Erin Condren is a lot more expensive than the Happy Planner. So the width or the weight of the papers is pretty comparable. Like they're pretty much the same. All right, I think my camera cut out a little bit, but hopefully I got most of that. But I was saying that the Erin Condren dividers are basically the same as a page in the Erin Condren planner, and they just stuck a tab on it, versus the Happy Planner dividers, where this is actually a thicker, it doesn't quite feel like cardstock, but it's definitely much thicker than their actual paper. And I think I mentioned it before, but design-wise, I do think their dividers are just so much prettier. You can see they've done gold foiling on a couple of them. They just have really pretty pictures on a couple as well. Again, with the gold foiling, like I just think that is so much prettier than this. So yeah, I mean, as far as quality, they are very comparable. Now the Erin Condren, I've heard, has had some people complain as far as the quality. And I know people have said the quality has gone down this year, so I don't really have anything to compare it to since I've never had an Erin Condren. But I know some people have mentioned issues with the coils. That doesn't seem to be a problem if you just choose the platinum coil. But with the gold, the rose gold, and the black, they coat this coil. So some people have complained about the coating flaking off, or right here where the coil bends in. They've seen some like issues with that. So I didn't see too much of that when I was at Staples. I definitely took a look, and the gold coil definitely doesn't look quite as like smooth and shiny right at this portion. But yeah, I mean, I can definitely understand being kind of disappointed, especially if you're paying an extra $10 for the coil to have that happen. There are also some issues as far as the printing in the Erin Condren, which I definitely see that their printing is definitely not as crisp and clear as the Happy Planner. All right, that is as close as my camera can zoom in, but in person, when you actually look closely, you can see that everything printed here, you can actually see like the little individual dots, which is kind of weird, and it definitely gives off that really like fuzzy look. And I don't know if that was done on purpose. I don't know if they were trying to cut down on production costs or if they were trying to go with the more muted look of this planner. But I do have to say that compared to the Erin Condren, the Happy Planner printing just looks so crisp, and like it just looks so much better because it's just so much more crisp, and you definitely don't see those little dots. Well, I guess you kind of can with the colored headers, but with the Erin Condren, you can see that even just in like these lines here, this goals section. Let's see, yeah, definitely this like July 2016, it looks a little bit fuzzy up close, and I truly don't think the camera is picking it up. So if anyone thinks that they would be bothered by that, I guess the best advice I can give you is just go to Staples and look for yourself, because yeah, when I actually saw that, I was pretty shocked, and especially since this is a $50 planner, I would expect a lot better. So quality wise, I do think the Happy Planner is pretty comparable, and I was pretty surprised by that considering how much money you save by going with the Happy Planner. Other than that, let's see, just to talk a bit about the arc rings, I haven't had an issue so far, but I also don't bring my planner. Like, this is not a planner that I carry with me, so I don't know how it would hold up to travel. Like I said, this doesn't seem quite as strong as the Erin Condren, just because you've only got 9, I think, rings here holding it in place, and these rings are plastic. What I have had happen is that since I do have it just sitting out on my desk, and sometimes I'll move it around, that eventually there will be some wearing of the arc rings right where they hit my desk. And same thing with the cover does tend to get a little bit scratched up since it's just like flat out on my desk. That doesn't bother me too much, especially since there are going to be interchangeable covers coming out anyway, so that really doesn't bother me too much. Other thing I will note is, so I noticed this on the Erin Condren, which was kind of weird, and I don't know if the camera will pick it up. And I tried to pick the one that was the better of all the ones I saw at Staples, but basically at the very bottom, you can see like their cover just isn't finished very well. There's a little bit of bubbling at the very bottom, and this was again the better of all the ones that I saw at Erin Condren, or at Staples, I'm sorry. But some of them have just like little bits of plastic hanging off still, so it just looked like it wasn't finished properly, which that was pretty surprising to me, because when I looked closer at the Happy Planner, that does not seem to be an issue. So again, just quality wise, they are a lot more comparable than I initially thought. Alright, so that was just a really fast overview. I know there are a lot of people that have done in-depth reviews of both of these planners, so I didn't want to spend half an hour talking about them. But just to kind of sum up my thoughts, I think the Happy Planner is a really good deal for the money. If there are things about it that bother you, then I mean, definitely the Erin Condren seems to be a staple. A lot of people have it. So, I mean, I don't think it's a bad planner necessarily, but just me personally, this does not feel like a $50 planner. And I would just much rather save the money on the planner itself and spend that money on really pretty stickers, because first of all, not only are you supporting someone's Etsy business by buying their stickers, the stickers wind up being the main focus of the page anyway when you open it up. So I'd rather fill my planner with really pretty stickers than spend all my money on a planner and then not be able to have the spreads turn out as great as I would like them to be. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of my thoughts. Like I said, there are pros and cons to both, and even in the few months that I've had the Happy Planner, I've always thought about buying an Erin Condren. I've always been tempted, and it's mainly because of that one issue with the spacing, which I think I've figured out at this point. So going forward, I'm probably going to at least finish off the Happy Planner because I just don't want it to go to waste. But I was actually fortunate enough to get an Erin Condren gift card, so I think I'll wait until next year when their new planners come out and see if some of these quality issues are still a concern. and we'll see. We'll go from there, but I might get an Erin Condren eventually down the road. But for the time being, I'm very happy with the Happy Planner. I think it is a great price for what you're getting, and I think it's a great alternative to people who don't want to spend $50 to $80 on a planner. So hopefully that helped. If you guys have any additional thoughts, I'd love to hear them. I always liked to hear why people chose the planner that they did, because it just offers a different perspective. So hopefully this video was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.